Welcome back, everybody, to the SYBK Hockey Show. I'm the commish, Joe Sutt, and I am here to talk to you about SYBK Hockey Spring 2018 season. First off, I'd like to apologize for the lack of content on the site. Been busy lately, been traveling, and haven't been able to really fill the site up with the content that is needed. So, first off, with that being said, if there's anybody out there that would like to put their content on the site, get us info, Instagram articles, please chime in. Please let me know because everybody loves the content, and the more stuff that we get, the better. And honestly, it's a little bit harder for me to get around to it as of lately. So if you can help us, anybody looking to help us out, we would greatly appreciate that. And I'm sure every member of the league would as well. So first off, I would like to talk about this season. It started off in a quite a strange way where we had actually two teams, if I'm not mistaken, two teams 2-0, two teams 0-2. It was the Hurricanes and the Bruins at 2-0, and the Blues and the Lightning started off the season at 0-2, which is really putting a big separation gap between all of the teams. As most of you know, the Hurricanes were headed by Aaron Cabasso and company, and in week 3, they played. It was the Hurricanes versus the Bruins, who was captained by Phil Dweck. And who else is on that team? Goalie is Boppo. They got Bortzi, Ike Jeho, Elliott Sutton, Joe Beta Lewis, Ronnie Sanliniato, and Victor Myth. Solid team drafted by Phil Dweck. And it was in week 3 that the Hurricanes. It was in week 3 that the Bruins beat the Hurricanes 5-3, and they improved themselves to 3-0, sweeping the first 3 games and put themselves in a very, very good position. And then I'm just focusing on week 3 for right now. On the bottom of the pile, we had the Blues versus the Lightning, and the Lightning beat the Blues that week 7-4, which is the first time Aaron Harari's career, he was 0-3, actually lost 5 consecutive SYBK hockey games dating back to the 2 games that he lost in the playoffs last year. I don't think it's ever happened. I've written an email, is it the time of the demise? Maybe that woke him up, because then in week 4, the Blues came out and Aaron came out strong as they beat the Lightning in what we called week 4, which was a rematch week, which is very cool because it was the first time that we had teams playing back-to-back with each other. And the Blues actually beat the Lightning in rematch week, as well as the Hurricanes beat the Bruins in rematch week, which is very cool because it just showed the transparency in the league that the two teams who won the week before weren't able to win back-to-back weeks against that team, and the team who lost came back and won, which made the standings very, very tight at that point, with 2 teams sitting at 1-3 and 2 teams sitting at 3-1. And then things got really interesting this week when the Blues put on another dominating performance. This time it was against the Bruins as they beat them 13-7. Aaron Harari had 4 goals, 4 assists, and basically I think he woke the Blues up from almost a grave that they dug themselves in. Now, as they sit in 2-3, and the Hurricanes, who were originally 3-0, are now 3-2, and then the Lightning, who looked like after week 4 were hanging on to life support, were able to get a very, very impressive win against the Bruins. And they are now 2-3, and they are 3, and the Bruins and the Hurricanes, have fallen to 3-2. What does that mean? That basically means that there is 2 points separating last place and first place. This week, after 6 weeks of play, it might be very possible that we have a 4-way tie for first place, and that will be the first time in SYBK hockey history. So for anybody who said that the teams might not be fair heading into week 6, the teams are very fair. A couple of things that I'd like to note. Mo Mala was having a very, very strong campaign through the first 4 weeks of the season, and he actually side betted, guaranteed me that he would win the scoring title. But Aaron Harari always has these one or two super huge weeks that always gets him on top of that leaderboard. This week he put up 8 points with 4 goals and 4 assists, and really takes a huge lead in the leaderboard. We got Isaac Cabasso trailing him, who's also on the Blues with 17 points. And then you got Mo and Aaron Cabasso trailing with 16 and 15 points, respectively. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the teams thus far and my thoughts. And I think later in the week, we might even have some content with some of the captains. So hopefully that works out. I'm going to talk. I mentioned about the Bruins, who's on that team. I love this team. I love the team if they all show up. They have probably the team that is the deepest. They are nursing a couple of injuries right now with Ike Cabasso, who, I don't know, dislocated his finger, which makes him a little bit weak on the D end. But Arya Bortz seemed very insulted last season when he did not win the playoff MVP, and he told me that he's going to make sure that it will be he will win MVP of the playoffs this year. It won't be a conversation that need to be discussed. So Bortz is the man on a mission that he wants to be called out and make sure that he gets noticed as the premier J-Dub in this league, even though he's got a J-Dub on his line with J-Ho. The Lightning, I thought this team was, when Abe Haber drafted this team, it was very interesting. He really took Bijou and Jeffrey Towell, I wouldn't even say Jeffrey Towell, I'd say Bijou. He took him with the second overall pick in the league, which was a shock. Bijou, I love you. You play unbelievable. You play with your heart. But I think you're one of the most improved players, or probably the most improved player over the league span in the last 3 years. But top pick, I don't know if you're there yet. But anyways, the Lightning started off slow, then got an impressive win against Aaron Harari, then were put back in shape after they got beaten by Aaron Harari, as mentioned earlier. And then last week beat the Hurricanes and Aaron Cabasso, which was a very impressive win. I think this team really goes as far as their goalie and their defense. Stevie Beta missed last week against the Blues, and it hurt them. But he bounced back this week and played against the Hurricanes, and he had a very, very impressive performance. Steven Beta is probably the most important factor on this team, because although they do have Bijou and Jeffrey that could put up goals for them, and now with the acquisition of Jufa, they could definitely score some goals, and they have a variety of players who could score goals, including Himi, E.G., Kubi, Mo Daba, and even Joey Cohen playing defense. You will never see a goal from him. But I think this team will go as far as Steven Beta will take them. Steven has been up for the challenge in the past, but he knows what he needs to do. Let's just see if he can get it done. The Hurricanes was captained by Aaron Cabasso. Aaron Cabasso had one agenda when drafting this year, and that was to make a team that will stack up against Aaron Harari's Blues as much as possible. And with Mo Mala being around to be the fourth pick, he was able to grab Mo Mala, which they're having tons of scoring between the two of them. And he was also able to pick up a center, and Ali Haddad makes his team really, really deep. But what's really impressive is the guys that he has on the D side. He's got Aaron Harari, little Aaron, who's been improving himself as the seasons go on. Abe Silvers, who's been very impressive over the last couple of seasons, as well as Michael Shamma, who's back from the IR. So tons of depth in D. Their second and third line isn't the strongest, but if they have guys like Svivalinsky carrying them, and Hadef, Rudy, and Dayan, this team could really make a statement by playing defensive hockey. And they have, quote-unquote, the top goalie, or the number one drafted goalie, who was drafted number one in the past and this season, Mo Bailey. Can Mo Bailey play like the Mo Bailey of old? Stephen Bate has been giving him a huge run for his money. Also, Bappo and Rati have been pushing Mo to the brink. I don't know if there's such a huge discrepancy in between goalies like there was in the past, but if Mo Bailey could be the Mo Bailey of old, this team will put a great defensive effort coming forward, and that's what they will need in order to be victorious. And last off, you got the Blues. So started off 0-3, very rocky. They have, but now are on a 2-game win streak, scoring 23 goals in their last 2 games. So whether it was they figured things out, Aaron Harari was able to keep things in check. I think this team is deep. I think they have talent, and then it drops off really quickly. They have playing defense is Ham and David Cabasso with Ray T in net. Not the strongest deep pairing that you have in the league, and also myself was supposed to be back there, but been injured for the past couple of weeks. Hopefully, I could get back before Passover. Not the strongest defense, so if the D is gonna chip and commit offensively, they're gonna have a tough time getting back, and it's just the matter of can skinny Ray T play like fat Ray T. We all know Fat Ray T was a jolly old fellow, a happy man, and able to stop really anything that came at him. And the question is how good of a goalie is Skinny Ray T? I know deep down, Skinny Ray T could play like Fat Ray T, but he's got to get over this hump that he's been trying to get over, and that's probably winning a playoff game with me because we haven't had much success together. So Ray, I'll take the blame. Offensively, Aaron, not much to say there. They have somebody who could feed him the puck in Isaac, and a center in Jober, and also on a second line in terms of offensive power with Louis Haber and Daniel Elbaz. Also adding to the mix Eddie Mamie and Tommy Ridge, who I think got hurt this season and might be out for the remainder of the season. He just texted me that. But so this team is also deep, but the D isn't as strong as it could, and if they don't show up, the talent drops off really quickly. So question is how much can Aaron Harari do? And if he can't do so much, how much slack could a guy like Jober, Isaac, and Elbaz pick up in order for the Blues to be successful? The first 3 weeks, they weren't able to do much, and the last 2 weeks, they were. So let's see what happens going forward. The truth is, I am very excited for Week 6 because I think it would be really, really cool if all 4 teams are tied in first place at the end of the week. So honestly, I hope it happens, and that would just mean that we're in for a really good end of our 12th season. So Kamish here. See you guys all in the rink, and look forward to another amazing season of SYBK hockey. Kamish out.